the 6 things you really need to start a business. Most people think money or capital is the only thing they need to start a business. Once you have a lot of money, you'll have a successful business, right? This is actually a very wrong and expensive assumption. And I'll give you some examples of promising businesses that failed even though they had a lot of capital and raised millions of dollars from investors. Theranos, a blood testing technology startup, raised $910 million from investors and still failed. Rethink Robotics raised $150 million and still failed. Ship, an on-demand delivery business, raised $62 million in capital and still failed. Airwave, a drone company that raised $104 million from investors, still failed. Automotors, an electric motorcycle startup, got $44 million in funding and still failed. Blue Smart, a startup that built smart suitcases, raised $30 million from investors and still failed. These are just a few examples of hundreds of young businesses that had a lot of capital but still failed. And while startups fail for several different reasons, my point here is that capital alone does not guarantee the success of a young business. Yes, capital can be an advantage when you're starting a business, but it does not guarantee you will survive or succeed. That's because there are just some things that money alone cannot buy. In this lesson, I'm going to show you the 6 most important things you need to start a business. Make sure you pay very close attention to what I'm about to show you. The first thing you really need to start a business is market knowledge. And by knowledge, I mean information and insights about the market you're about to enter. In every market, there are external factors that could help or harm your business. So, how much do you know about the market you're about to enter? Every business serves and plays in a market, and the market you enter can play a big part in the success or failure of your business. The truth is, it doesn't matter how brilliant your business idea is if you enter the wrong market, or enter an unprofitable market, or enter a market you don't really understand. The American market is very different from the Chinese market. The Nigerian market is very different from the South African market. Even though both countries are on the same continent. So sometimes people look at Africa as a market, but sometimes they also forget that Africa is made up of 55 different countries. Even within the same country, the market in 2 cities can be very different. The market in Cape Town is very different from the market in Johannesburg. The market in Lagos is in many ways different from the market in Abuja. So the better you understand your market, the better your chances of succeeding within that market. The second thing you need to start and succeed in business is skills. And now you need to pay attention to this one. And when I say skills, specifically, there are 2 types of skills that an entrepreneur needs to successfully start a business. The first is business skills, and the second is technical skills. And to have a good chance of success, you need to have at least one of these 2 skills. Business skills are the skills required to successfully run and grow a business. Technical skills are the specialist or professional skills or industry skills you need to be able to make or sell your product or service. Technical skills could be skills from technology, engineering, medicine, law, finance, logistics, or any industry. It all depends on the industry your business is in. Now, if you have technical skills but you don't have business skills, or vice versa, let's say you're an engineer, you've been an engineer all your life, you have no clue what a business is or even the rudimentary basics of a business, there are 2 things you can do. You could actually invest the time and energy to learn and acquire the skills yourself, learn and acquire the skills you don't have, like you're doing right now. You're taking this course. This is a business course. You are learning and sharpening your mind and trying to understand how business works. And then, you can invest the time to get the training and the experience. The other option you have is you can take a shortcut, an effective shortcut, by finding, recruiting, or partnering with somebody. It could be a co-founder, it could be a business partner, you could hire an employee, get a consultant, a contractor, or advisor who can fill in the gaps for the skills that you don't have. The fact is, it's difficult to succeed in business if all you have is technical skills. If you don't have a basic understanding of how business works, you're going to have a problem. At the minimum, you need to understand the numbers of the business. You need to understand basic concepts like revenue, sales, cost, and profits. You need to know what strategy is, what the business model is. You need to know how to price a product. You need to know how to sell. You need to know how to read the competition. You need to know how to pitch, how to propose an investment opportunity to investors. All of these things are basic business skills. And without business skills, it's almost impossible to convince investors or banks to give you capital, or to convince distributors or suppliers to do business with you, because these guys think in business and their language is business language. And if you don't really understand the basics of business, you'll be unable to speak that language. So some types of businesses require very strong technical skills, to make or sell the product or service. So if you're going to develop software, for example, or start a business in healthcare or pharmaceuticals, or go into the production of baby food, or launch, a mining or consulting company, you need to have some technical background in the product or service you are offering to customers. And then you also need to have an understanding of the industry you play in. So in some businesses, poor technical knowledge can lead to very costly and deadly mistakes. The third important thing you need is access to resources. Now, pay close attention to this one, because this is where entrepreneurs make a lot of mistakes. The important and operative keyword here is access. Some businesses need physical assets to operate, like land, office space, a factory, vehicles, equipment, and all sorts of physical stuff. As long as you have access to use these resources, your business can operate. So in most cases, you don't need to buy the land or buy the factory or own the vehicles or own the equipment or build anything from scratch in order to start a business. That's a common mistake that entrepreneurs make, and that is a common reason why a lot of them run out of capital early on in business. What your business really needs is access and not ownership. What you need is access, not ownership. A lot of young businesses waste their precious capital on acquiring and owning stuff they could have rented, leased, or outsourced. In some cases, it makes sense to own some things. There are some things you cannot rent or lease or outsource. But in many cases, especially if the cost is really high, access is all you really need. Access through renting it, leasing it, or outsourcing it. The mission of a startup is to survive. That's your mission. Your mission is not to have a posh office, have the best website, have a cutting-edge app. Your mission is to survive. Now, when your business survives and becomes successful, you then have all the money you need to buy and own as many assets as you want. This is a very critical piece of advice, and I hope you take it to heart. The fourth important thing a business needs to start is time. A new business will not start up and run by itself. Depending on your type of business, somebody, one person, or a team of people need to devote and invest their time to the business. Finding customers takes time. Dealing with suppliers and distributors takes time. Making the product or delivering the service will take time. Selling the product takes time. Hiring people, preparing a business plan, pitching to investors, and taking care of customers all take time. If nobody does these things, the new business will not run by itself. The new business will struggle and could fail. A new business is like a baby and will likely need a lot of time and attention in the early days. And if you invest your time well, the business could grow to a level where it needs less and less of your time. But in the early days, you need to invest the time. Time is a common constraint for people who maybe have a job and are running a side business, and are splitting their time between their day job and the side business. And I think in the upcoming lesson, I'm going to give you one tip that you can use to address it. If you don't have time, you can buy time, you can partner with somebody to get time, and a couple of other possibilities. So if you're trying to leave your job to start a business, time can be difficult. You may need to work into the night after your 9-to-5 job and also work on the business on weekends. If there's no time, you have to create time. If you cannot create time, then you can buy time by recruiting a co-founder, a business partner, employees, consultants, or contractors who can get the job done, who can provide time. The fifth important thing a business needs to get started is hunger. Now, by hunger, I mean a strong desire, ambition, commitment, motivation, a risk appetite, and determination to make your business start and succeed. Now, Hunger is a mindset thing. You can't buy it with money. And it's often the hidden reason why some businesses fail and others succeed. In my opinion, lack of hunger is the reason why some people don't start a business, even though they have very bright business ideas, even though they are well educated and may even have an MBA from a top business school. Now, hunger, like I said, is a mindset thing. Hungry entrepreneurs are more likely to succeed because their desire and ambition are stronger than their fears. Some people don't start a business because they are afraid. But the moment you are more hungry than you are afraid, you're definitely going to start that business. Hungry entrepreneurs succeed because they are willing to take action. They are willing to learn and develop themselves, and they are willing to take risks and learn from their mistakes. The reality is, compared to hungry people, people who are stuck in their comfort zone or have other options may not have the motivation and determination to fight for their business ideas and make them a reality. The sixth and final thing you need to start a business is capital. As I mentioned earlier in this lesson, capital alone does not guarantee the success of a business, but it can give you a strong advantage and improve your chances of success. The amount of capital you need will depend a lot on the type of business you have. Some types of businesses are capital intensive while others are not. So when you're starting a business, you need to allocate capital wisely and only spend money on those things that are absolutely essential to the survival and success of your business. That's because capital is a finite resource, and it's common to run out of capital in the early days of your business if you don't make the right decisions and allocate your capital wisely. In fact, running out of capital is one of the top reasons why young businesses fail. In the beginning, you think because your expectations are that your business is really going to succeed in a short period of time, you start to spend capital, you start to spend your money on unnecessary things, So if you don't focus on the essential things, most businesses run out of capital before the business actually can take off. So like I showed you in the last video, your job is to make sure you survive the valley of death. So to recap, these are the 6 important things you need to start a business. You need market knowledge, you need business and or technical skills, you need access to resources, access being the operative word there. You need time. Very importantly, you need hunger. And depending on your kind of business, you may need significant capital. But before I end this lesson, I need you to do something. Head over to the comment section below this video and tell me which of the 6 things in this lesson are holding you back from getting your business started. If your comment is interesting enough, I could pitch in and give you some feedback. Also, more importantly, I need you to do somebody a favor. Use the social media buttons below this video to share this important lesson with your friends, family, and people who follow you on social media. A lot of people out there have beautiful business ideas, but have no clue how to transform the ideas into a live business. A lot of people have bright ideas, but they are confused. They don't know where to start. They don't know how to start. They don't know what to do. Share this lesson with them. Share this course with them, and I'm sure they'll be grateful to you forever. See you in the next lesson. You don't want to miss the next lesson. Cheers. Bye-bye.